How you doing? My name is Barry Thomas Jr. I'm of ESLA, Cat Entertainment Services, and I'm here today to demonstrate to service a 20-ton unit. This is one of our oldest models. This is a 20-ton Wenzlau unit. And what I like to do is I like to walk around the unit, make sure there's no damages in the evaporator coil and the condenser coil. So I'm going to take a walk around. So I'm observing my evaporator unit, and I see there's some damages to the fins, but minor ones. I'm going to walk around to my condenser, check that out. And I can see there's also little damages to them, not too bad. So, we take note of that. And then one thing I really like to do is check my pressure gauges. That would tell me an indication of if there's refrigerant in the system, and whether I can, after I check everything out, can I start it and will it run? So let's take a walk around to the other side, and we'll take a look at the pressure gauge. So let me grab my screwdriver. All right, so here's where we have our pressure gauges. We have stage 1, stage 2, and they're usually about a little bit over 100. You can see the high pressure is a little bit over 100. Low pressure is right about a little bit before 120. And they're usually about the same. So that's a good indicator that, once we go through all the other procedures, that this unit will probably start and function pretty well. So after we go through and check these pressure gauges out, I like to go to my electrical compartment and check. Here's the section where the electrical part of the unit is. So I'm going to remove this door. This right here, and this is where we have our electrical system is. And so you can see we have a drive that runs the blower motor. And right now it's in drive. And if there's any complication with the drive, you can actually turn it to off, or you can go to line. So my next thing to do is take off the door, and we can check out the electrical components. Now we're going to take off the door, so you can see our electrical components. And you're basically checking these components and wires for either burnt or frayed wires, loose connections. Sometimes they go down the road and the units bump around and things come loose. So we want to be able to make sure there's no damages to your electrical compartment. Get these screws out. So one thing we want to make sure is that there's no power going to this unit, and you want to be extremely careful and safe when dealing with the electrical compartment, because there would be a tendency of getting electrocuted or shocked or damaging some equipment. So make sure when you first start off, make sure there's no power going to the unit, and you can safely take off this door without any hazards. So I'm going to finish taking off this door. Alright, so this is what we have. And I'm basically looking for, like I said before, burnt wires, frayed wires. I have a screwdriver here where I usually tighten all my connections. So I usually go to first off I want to explain to what's going on here. You have your terminal block, you have your compressor 1, compressor 2 contactor, and then your condenser fan contactor. And so you have your control transformer. This is your phase monitor right here. And so you want to check these components and make sure they're you know, the wires are tight, and then there's no burnt wires going to them. So I'm gonna start checking these connections, wires going into the contactor to make sure they're tight. All I want to do is kind of get in there and give it a little twist on the screws. Then I kind of like just want to kind of pull on stuff. See, there we go. If you don't really go in here and check, this is what happens. So that's something we have to fix. That's why I like to pull on things, pull on these wires, make sure they kind of get tight in here. Check my transformer wires. Pull on those. My barrel switch. Pull on those wires. Time delay switch. Want to kind of pull on those. Just kind of go through and kind of just give a little tug on them. That lets you know that they're tight. There's no arcing on any of it. Just kind of look around. Grounding. Breaker for your VFD. Tighten these wires up. I'll get in there and kind of pull on them. Okay, so wires like this, just kind of want to get some wire ties, kind of tie this up so it's out of the way, so it doesn't, hit something, arc something. There might be a, little gash in it or something, but you just want to kind of tie this up so it's not really hanging out. Make it look all neat so you can actually look at the wires. But this is what you check the units for. Everybody can see that. I just barely pulled on it and the wire came out. That's what you're looking for when you're servicing, your electrical compartment or any other part of the unit. So we're going to fix this real quick. Give me a minute and I'll be back with some connectors to make this happen. So we have our spade connector right here. So I'm going to just put this spade connector on this wire here. Flip it on really tight. Kind of give it a pull. Pull on it. Make sure it doesn't come off. Put it back on. This wire that came off goes to our condenser motor. Power comes through here, goes to this terminal block, and then it feeds the line side of these contactors. So this is our line side of the contactor for our condenser motor, and then this is the load side for our condenser motor. So let's tighten that up. Alright, let's put a couple little wire ties in this wire here. Get it there. Just so it's not dangling and you don't just have wires just hanging out. So. Alright. So this is our electrical box. This is what controls the AC part of this unit. We're going to close this back up, and then we're going to go to the heating part of this unit and check those electrical connections. Now we're going to check our electrical components for our heating system, and we need to take this door off, so I'm going to take this door off on here. Be sure to hold your hand here, because if you let go, this door will come off. So I'm gonna put my drill down. Let this swing back a little bit. Take this off. And then we have our electrical box for our heating system. Take your screwdriver and kind of pry the door off a little bit. There we have our stage 1, stage 2 contactors for our heating system. And once again, you just go through and tighten things up. A lot of times I like to push in the contactors and make sure they're not seized or frozen. Checking all the connectors. Once again, see, power comes inside, goes to this terminal block, goes to these circuit breakers, and then out in your elements. And your elements are in this compartment right here.
Where? Show that again.
The elements are in these compartments right here. There's elements, heater elements, all the way from this side to this end over here. This unit has 45 kW of heat, and it has 2 stages of heat. So the best work, the operation best for this unit is wall mounted. They do well on wall mounted. When you put duct on them, static pressure is too high, and then it kind of kicks itself off and on. So I would recommend, if you want to use heat with these units, to wall mount. They work really well, wall mount. So I see I'll give a little tug on these wires, make sure everything is tight. See no frayed wires. So we'll put this door back on, and we'll move on to our belts. We also have some other, this is one of our, like I said before, one of our oldest units. We have some newer units that were made by Ohio Cat, and there's 3 stages of those. they keep upgrading those units. But these units here they've been here for forever, since I've been here. But I like them because they're durable. You know, their parts are easy to get from the supply house, and they're easy to work on. So let's put this door back on. I usually start with the ones at the top, hold it on. Unless you free up your hands, so now you can put the bottom ones on. You don't want to tighten too much on this thing. Just give it a little snug. That's it. So next on this unit is your belts. This compartment holds our scroll cages as far as our evaporator fan motor. So we're going to take this door off. We're going to check our belts. And I'm going to show you how to check your belts, remove them, put them back on, tighten them up, and adjust them. So let's take this door off. Once again, you got to keep your hand here. I just want to keep your hand here. You don't. These doors tend to fall back. So right here we have your evaporator fan motor. You have your dual pulley with your two belts. These are B4034s. And this motor is actually has a drive. So there's a VFD that drives this motor, or you can actually switch it in line where it would just, when you turn on the breaker, it would actually just come on. We like to run these things with the drive so we can have control of fan speed. So we want to start by, when you want to, taking these belts off, you want to start by grabbing the 9/16 open-end wrench. You want to loosen all 4 bolts. There's 2 here, and there's 2 in the back. And then there's an adjustable. There's an adjustable screw right here that moves the unit toward me and then back the other way. And if you go counterclockwise, it moves the motor backwards. If you go clockwise, it moves the unit forward. So let me grab my 3/4 inch wrench and my 9/16 wrench, and we'll start on checking these belts. So to get to the 2 bolts in front of the motor, you have to take off the side panel. So I'm going to take off the side panel so I can get to the 2 bolts in the front. A lot of times I like to hit it. It comes off, down, and then it gives me access to the 2 bolts in the front of the motor. So we just start from the back, just get them up a little bit. Go on the front. Now here's the part where some people get their hands caught up in these pulleys. What I like to do is loosen the belt, because you can see it has tension on it. And you can actually take it and go like this. But a lot of times, see how your finger goes in here, it can get caught up under this other belt and then get really, you can see my thumb get caught in here if I keep pushing it like this. So some people like to take it and go this way. What I like to do is loosen my belt up a little bit. Then I like to take a screwdriver and go up under the belt and use my other hand to push the belt and drive the belt off of the pulley. That keeps your hand from getting pinched up in here. Now use the other side the same way. Just drive this screwdriver up in here, force it out, and push with your backhand with your hand like this. And that way, nothing gets pinched. So, you take your belts off and you examine them. Examine them for cracks. I usually turn the belts outwards like this. I'm gonna examine them like this. You see, you can do like this. Sometimes there's little bitty cracks up in here. So I kind of bend them over like this. Need to examine them. If I don't see anything, I turn it back over. Put that there. Then I take the next one. I do the same thing. And if you start seeing cracks, that means they're dried out and they need to be changed. Other things too, when people turn these on, sometimes they squeal. You're supposed to check everything before you turn them on, but some people just turn them on and hear them squealing. That's because the belts aren't tight and they're actually rolling around the pulley instead of the pulley actually drawing it around. And so you also want to check for the sides being glossy. A lot of times when they're glossy, they're just sliding around both pulleys. And that's when you need to change them as well. And so these belts look good. So what you do is, now we're going to put them back on. I've seen people take belts, start over here, and then put it on this one, and then move it to this side. Well, you want to put this one on here. You want to start here, put that around there, so now both belts are on the correct side, so you can just go from small pulley to the big pulley. And I usually hold it down here, take the top of it with my thumb on top, and kind of roll it around. That kind of came off. Get a good tension on it. It's on there. It's good. Same thing with the other one. Grab it down here, roll it. So you can see it's a little loose there. When you tighten them up, you want to have a 1/2 inch play. There should be a 1/2 inch play in both of these when you tighten these up. Sometimes people tighten them up too much, and what it does is it draws the motor down, and it puts pressure on this bearing right here. There's a bearing in here, and there's a bearing back here. And there's also a bearing on the housing of the squirrel cage. So when you tighten these too much, you put pressure on those bearings, and those bearings tend to wear out. And you can hear them, a lot of times they start growling. That's the sound they usually make. So if you try to tighten these up, like I said, there's a 1/2 inch play, both the belts. And after you tighten these up, you get a 1/2 inch play of both of the belts. You put the doors back on. I'll show you later. You fire it up, and then you check your amp draw. Your amp draw is usually 7 amps for this motor. By the time we tighten this up and get it all set up, it usually runs about between 5 and 6 amps. You get it over 7 amps, the belt's too tight, and then you're going to burn up your motor, plus you're going to ruin your bearings on the squirrel cage and your motor. So we're going to go right now and tighten these belts up, 1/2 inch play, tighten the bolts back down, put the doors back on, and then we're going to move on to powering it up. Still going. When I tighten these up, I usually do it like a tire. So I go across to here, go to this one, and then come back to that one. That way you tighten them up evenly, just like you do a tire. So I usually snug this over here, go to the one in the front. Snug that up there, go across. Snug that up, and come to the back side one over here. Snug that up. So we have a 1/2 inch play. And I just do the same thing. Just keep going around so they tighten evenly. After I get them tight, go on, and I just go all around. I got a little trick here too. Sometimes when if I forget which way to turn this nut, there's usually some dirt right here. I usually wipe the dirt off, and it leaves a line. So once I turn it, if it goes past the line, I know I'm going the wrong way. If I go back, if I turn it the other way and it goes back, I know I'm going the right way. It's a little something I do myself. Sometimes I forget, which way to turn it. And so I use the little dirt line to let me know. And even if I loosen these up and I put new belts on, that line is still there. So all I have to do is go back to that line. If these belts were, let's just say they were glossy and they just needed to change, they had the right tension, I can just go back to that line, that dirt line on there, and then adjust the motor to it, and then it makes it easier. But I like to go, I like to adjust them to where I know I've been doing this for a while, so I kind of have an idea of where these belts need to sit. So make sure I have a 1/2 inch play in them, not too tight. And it's time to put the doors back on. So we'll put this door back on. Now these are the blower motor belts. There's 2 belts for the condenser. We'll take this door off and I'll show you those belts as well. We don't have to, this unit has already been serviced, so I can just show you where these belts are, and you can do the same thing for those belts that I just did to these belts. It has the same motor frame with the 4 bolts, 2 in the front, 2 in the back, and an adjusting bolt in the back. The same thing. To come forward, you go counterclockwise. To go back, you go clockwise. Again, keep your head here. Start with the top one. Keep your hand free. And this one bolt. There we go. Snug it. Hey, now we're going to take a look at the condenser fan belt. We have condenser fan belts, condenser fan motor. It's got a little 1/2-inch play in them. Turn them around. And also, when you take these belts off as well, you can actually turn the pulleys to see if there is a kind of growl or a noise coming from the bearing area to indicate these bearings might be going out. And you can hear it. It has like a dry run when you turn it. It'll make a noise. With the good bearings, you can't hear anything. You just turn it and it just spins. But if the bearings are going out, you can spin them and you can hear noise coming from them. And you get an indication that your bearings are soon to be needing to be changed. So all you do is the same thing as I did up on the evaporator motor. Just stick your screwdriver in here, take them off, replace them the same way, adjust them the same way, and then after everything's said and done, you power it up and check amp draw. Now I have ran my cable over here for energize this unit and made sure that my power's off. So now I'm about to connect my cams, meter it out, turn it on, and let's see what we get. Always start with your green first. Black. Red.
Now you hooked them up wrong. Why?
I hooked these up black, blue, red because the phase rotation is different on this. So if I hook them up black, red, blue, then
It'll be out of phase. It'll be reversed. Are all of our DX units like that?
it just depends on the power source. Each unit is different. It depends on the power source like that. All the Wenzlaus in here will be out of phase, and all the Cats will be phase black, red, blue. That's just the way the power source is.
So is it that the Ohio Cats are clockwise and the Wenslaus are counterclockwise?
It might be so. I mean, you get them out, you get them on a generator, any type of generator or any other horsepower, it might be different. You just never know. It just comes from the power source. Whatever the power source is, whatever this reads, it's going to say it's out of phase or it's in phase. I just know from hooking all these up that this is black, blue, red here. Hey, Chappelle, want to turn on that breaker for me, please? Let me grab my meter.
You're on.
So we're live here at this bus, and I'm going to check voltage through the pass-throughs of this unit. hot first. 49. 49, and hot the button. Alright. Next step, you want to make sure your control switch is in local. Your stage 1 and 2 is in off. AC is in off. Stage 1 and 2 of heat is off. So start cycle is 20 time. You want to hit your main breaker. All right. That's good. Turn the VFD up. Like I said before, this unit has a VFD on it. So what you hear winding up is the variable frequency drive. And there's a pot right here. It's slotted so you can turn it either down or you can turn it up. Motor, set your meter to amperage. Plant your amperage. 5.8, 6, 5.8, 9. That lets me know that our motor's running nice and smooth, good amp draw. Again, we set our amp draw on this motor with 7 amps, so we're running about 5.8 and 6. So it's doing good. Next step is turn the unit on. You want to go to your stage 1 and 2. Get your switch for stage 1 and 2 AC. You have the stage 1 and 2 lights come on. Most important, we pan around the back. You want to have this exhaust door open. This exhaust door releases all the hot air from which the unit picked up. Everybody thinks AC is just putting out cold air, but AC is a transfer of heat. So it's sucking in heated air, taking it through the refrigerant, sliding it through the system, and then getting rid of it. That's what you feel coming out the backside of this unit. It should be pretty warm. I just kind of feel the air. Over to the other side of the unit, we can check the gauges. Here we have system 1 gauges, high pressure, low pressure, high pressure. System 2, low pressure, high pressure. What should they be at? R22 operates at a 65-pound head, around a 250-pound head high side. But since it's cool, since this warehouses don't have really no heat in it, a lot of times it's usually lower in here. And I watch these sight glasses. Right now they're just feeding refrigerant to the evaporator. That's what that's telling me. This also is an indicator of low refrigerant. You have to have a heat load on it to make sure that it's low on refrigerant before you start adding refrigerant. So after a while, this runs for a while, these should clear up. These 2 sight glasses should clear up. So this warehouse in here, in this atmosphere, these are pretty much in range of what pressure gauges should read. And if you have any, I know most of you won't have pressure gauges, but the ones that do, you can put pressure gauges on here to accurately read, your system's readings. This is a tutorial to show, just a regular guy just to come in here and turn it on, check all the belts, check the electrical, make sure the heat works, check the amperage, and just check the system, make sure it runs. After it runs for a while, I usually take a temperature reading. My temperature thermometer here. I usually take a reading here. Like a 20-degree split from here, from intake to supply. We'll say 76 degrees here. Off, transfers into the unit, drops in pressure, drops in temperature, and you get cold air out of your supply. And the heat that is picked up with this evaporator is actually discharged on the backside as it goes through the compressor and the condenser. Air goes across the condenser, cool air goes across the condenser. Removes the heat is ejected out, the unit, refrigerator turns back to liquid, and then it does its own cycle over again. This came out to like 55, so we got a good split here. And I usually just let it run, just to see what it'll do. Temperature, the pressures will drop. After all is said and done, I go cosmetic. I make sure all the bolts are in. Usually we use the wrong model. To a 10. Plates right here. There's 4 here. There's 4 on the other side. There's 2 on the top. You have to make sure these bolts are functional. So after this unit after we've done servicing this unit, we go to the cosmetics of replacing this bolt here, this bolt right here, this bolt, all the bolts that secure these panels on and clips on. You go through and make sure everything's pretty much tight and usable when they go out on the job. So I would say that would conclude our service of this Wenzlau 20-ton unit. Thank you for your time and have a good day.